Welcome to Infusion Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price and Markey here, back in the studio. Have we talked about Day of Caring yet, briefly?
No, Day of Caring was last Wednesday. It went great. Over 1,900 volunteers registered. It rained a little bit, and it's only rained twice in 33 years.
Is that true?
Only 2 rain days, and you won't believe it. I was here for both of them. So maybe it's me.
Was the one at JPJ, right?
Yes, it rained, it poured. I was walking through the rivers and stuff. But yeah, Day of Caring went great. Super excited about all the volunteering that got done, and thank you to everybody who's listening who volunteered or thinks about volunteering, and hit me up if you want to volunteer in the future.
Yeah, and a lot of great sponsors for that work. I won't name them because I don't know them because I don't work there anymore. But I remember, it's like folks at Atlantic Union Bank and Woodard Properties and Centerra. I mean, Old Dominion. It is a real sort of like who's who of folks in Charlottesville, which is cool. It brings a very diverse crowd of folks. It was funny to, I was there. One of my kids was there. It's a whole thing. It was cool. It was good.
Thanks,
good job.
Price.
I know you do a lot of the legwork on that.
Appreciate that.
It ain't easy. So I'm always happy when it comes off because those things are detailed.
And don't ask me when it was because it feel like 2 months ago.
Well, that's why I asked. That's why I got in here and I asked, and I was like, "Have we talked about it yet?" And then I realized we saw each other the next day.
Yeah.
We
probably should have talked about it then.
I think it was too recent.
It was too fresh.
I think it was just like, it was still raining. The whole thing was still a little too new. But even more importantly than that is we have Stacy Rush with us, who I was just alerted to the fact has stories of little me. So
I love stories of Little Price because he never talks about Little Price.
I ain't allowed to talk about it.
But the way we do the show is that first we ask you a little bit about yourself, just for people who may not know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and where you're from.
Well, I'm Stacy Rush. I'm from a little town called Asmont in southern Albemarle County. Even smaller little town called Chestnut Grove. That's within Asmont.
Yes.
It's all my family. The town consists of my family, the entire town.
People used to name the towns after families.
Yes, we named the roads.
Oh, yeah. So we have roads in my hometown named after families that have like 6 properties on like one piece of land. So it's like, I love that.
Exactly.
What? Wait, so what are some of the names?
You've got Pocket Lane. You've got Gaines Lane.
I love it.
You've got Chestnut Grove Road.
Okay.
Yes. So
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I grew up, like I said, I grew up here. I did spend a lot of time in South Carolina. I absolutely loved traveling up and down the East Coast. I have a daughter. And she is 14. She's bright.
Oh, yes.
Yes, she's in Albemarle. So everything is everything.
Oh, I love that. What took you to South Carolina?
Well, I was operations manager for Circuit City.
Oh, cool.
And I relocated there, and I took on a store in South Carolina, Florence, South Carolina, and I stayed a while.
Were you ever planning to come back when you left? Were you like, this is a temporary thing, I got to get home, I got to get to Esmont?
No. I'm going to be honest, no. But my father, for family reasons, my father took sick, and I came home to be with my family, and I just never left.
I'm sure neither have we. I'm young, but I still ain't going nowhere either.
Yeah, you know. But one day I'll go back. I do visit the Sea Isles a lot.
Oh, did you enjoy South Carolina?
I absolutely enjoyed. That's my second home.
Oh, wow.
That is my second home.
Yeah, I was about to say, I saw the Low Country shout out as a very particular
very
thing.
Particular,
yeah.
yes, very particular. Edisto and Mount Pleasant and Hilton Head and all of those places down there, Florence and Aiken, all of those, Charleston. That's deep history. Yes, deep history down in there.
What do you do?
I love history.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you went. Let's go back to go forward. Let's talk about growing up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about, so what, just tell a little bit of that experience of coming from a town and a pocket of a town. I mean, so intimate that you said it was your family.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that there's an incredible depth of experience to that.
Yes,
I think a lot of people have a hard time appreciating. And I think even for someone who lived in Charlottesville, which is by all accounts a small town, you extrapolate from there to the point where your side was sort of just like lost in the. I mean, what was that like, and what was it like being in such a true small town?
Well, close knit. It was amazing actually. You could rely on your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You could go next door.
I don't know if people can do that these days.
You know, exactly.
Rarely.
You know, you could go next door and borrow something.
Have you ever borrowed sugar from your neighbor, Price? Or butter or anything?
I ever borrowed
salt,
sugar? No.
pepper.
I helped my neighbor fix his fence when a tree fell through it, though.
Was the fence one that you shared on a property line?
Well, they are like next
Is
to
that-
it.
do
They're
that
like
count?
next to
Does
each
that
other.
count?
So yeah.
You fixed your
No,
own
no,
fence.
I see where you were going with that. No,
That's
it
not
was
on my
not
land.
a shared fence. You two. It was his fence that a tree fell through. It was a convenient excuse to play with a chainsaw. I will admit that. It was fun.
Oh yeah. That's
But
the country boy.
That
in
is
him.
that is.
That's the country
I
boy.
love
in
the
him.
country.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, the togetherness of living in such a close knit community was amazing. Like, everything that we did was self-reliant. We did everything ourselves. We planted gardens. We raised hogs and cattle. And,
Oh, was it like a farm?
yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, that's how we lived. That we had to
make
able
it
to
work.
eat. We had to grow and raise our food. So that's a culture. That's a way
Yeah,
of
it is a
life.
culture.
And it's a lot like the Gullah culture.
Yeah, I was thinking like Black Wall Street, but black farmers, like
Yeah.
like a system of farmers that if you grew corn and I grew tomatoes, we both that year gonna have corn and tomatoes.
That's called Black Farmers Bureau.
Oh. I was trying to figure out the word. How do I replace Wall Street
Yes.
with
That
farmers?
thing that exists. You
Yes.
thought of it.
It's there. It's all right.
Good idea.
It's all right. I mean, everybody would gather to my grandfather's house to kill their hog, and they would the ladies would gather around and get the innards out of the pig, and the men would and the young boys would clean the hog and cut the hog, and I mean that's a skill. That's something an experience that this generation just don't know
exactly.
about.
I have never. I used to see my grandma skin rabbits.
Yeah.
And take the stuff out of rabbits, and she'd cook it up. My uncles would go out and hunt, and they bring home the rabbits, and we'd eat it just like chicken. I remember that, but I never got an opportunity to do those things.
No,
because it was going out of favor. People don't. They did that to survive, and by the time I was a young kid. She was just doing it because that's what she knew how to do, based out of tradition, not because she didn't have a grocery store.
Why are you talking to me
Because-
like I'm not also of this
Oh
earth?
my goodness.
I understand we as children do not
I didn't do
rabbits. I
that.
get it. I got it.
But you know, my generation is the last generation. Generation X is the last generation who has experienced that.
Oh wow.
The generation after me, some of them have, but no, not really. They've seen it, but they've never actually done it.
Okay.
And that's a matriarch
Yeah, sure.
point there.
I think people are, but I did see a trend online maybe about homesteading, like making your own clothes,
Oh, yeah.
growing your own garden.
Oh, yeah.
People are trying to bring it back because they understand the importance of being self-sufficient, self-reliant.
And with all the mental
How to make soap.
issues, with all the mental issues that's out there, that type of stuff is therapy. Quilting.
Yes.
My grandmother, my paternal grandmother, she used to quilt, and she would take anything like old curtains, pillowcases,
Wow.
old sheets, and she would quilt these things together and make the most beautiful, warm quilts that you could ever imagine. And she made me my quilt that I used to play on. I used to play with dishes and my doll babies, and I would sit on my quilt that she made for me. And to this day, I still have my quilt.
That's history, right?
That's history.
Because quilts tell a story.
They tell a
You know,
story.
so
She would take her old dresses and put her old. So I still have a piece of my grandmother
love
with
that.
me at all times.
And so, speaking of your grandmother and your family, and your passion for cooking, when did that start? And tell us a little bit about that.
So My family cooks a lot. My family is known
Still to this day?
To this day.
Okay.
My family's known for the cooking family. Okay?
Really?
Yes.
Is it greens, beans,
honey,
tomatoes,
everything, potatoes?
Whoever edits this needs to put that. We need that right there.
Hallelujah.
Well, they are known for cooking. Every person in my family is known for cooking something, and it shows because people ask for it.
Okay.
They really put in orders.
Really?
Yeah.
Have y'all been to the Jefferson School's cook-off? Cook-off?
No,
Yeah.
not yet. I just heard about that during the pandemic.
Okay.
During the pandemic, I just heard about that, and I was like, wait a minute.
Because I was down there trying food. I was like, I don't even know none of these people, but this food speaks to me.
Yes.
Food speaks.
It does.
So
It does.
But you getting orders out the house? Y'all was always getting orders from your aunts and uncles?
Honey, people will call, can I get a sweet potato pie? Can I get a avocado? Can I get, yes. Can I get
Every
some
church
greens?
reunion,
Yes.
she said, we'll make the pies, we'll make
Yes,
the
we
cake.
will make, but we'll do this. We will do this. And that's another thing. Our church was, our community church was our family church. So you would have, on Sundays, on Revival Sundays, everyone would bring food, and they would call it food on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And everyone would bring their food, and everyone's known for some type of special food. You know what I mean? And you know where to go to at church, what table to stop at and when.
Okay.
You know.
Food is people take food so serious.
Oh yes,
because it's a serious thing. It's a serious game.
It's a serious thing.
We need to know who made this.
Yes.
And when we find out who made it, we get a lot of it.
Exactly. And so, when I was small, I was about 5 years old, I used to sit and I used to watch my grandmother and my mom cook. I always had designated seats. So when I watched my grandmother cook, I would sit at the table, the chair at the far end of the table, and I would sit there and listen to her hum her gospel songs, and I would listen to her tell stories about my ancestors. And I don't know if you've ever felt that feeling before, but that is the warmest, most loving feeling that you could ever feel in this world. In the warmth of that kitchen and her humming and loving with her hands, and then you eating that food after all that, and how like it just touches your soul. The food actually melts into your body.
It's almost like she was baking the memories into the food.
Yes. She took it. She took her love and those memories together, and melted it together in the food, and nourished your body with it. And that's called love.
Yeah,
that's called love. And that's how my passion started with her. Now with my mom, I would sit in the living room, in the recliner, that we had a little reclining chair that kind of rocked, and I would sit backwards in that chair, and I would watch her, and she would tell me. Now my mom did a lot of cooking for a living, like she would cater and stuff for people, and she would teach me formulas, cooking formulas and tricks to the
chemistry.
Tray. Yeah. All the while teaching me math.
Right.
My big nemesis. I hated math.
People always I'm like, yeah, these skills, home skills are skills for school.
Yes. These skills that you learn in school, guess what? They're basic skills.
Yeah.
They're life skills. And she would allow me to sample and ask me what's missing.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
That is such a heavy question.
Yes, that's a heavy question.
My mama still do that with me. I'm like, please.
Yeah.
That's a heavy question, but it made me feel included in the meal preparation for my family.
Right.
And that inclusivity made me feel so important as a kid. I was like, I tasted that to make sure it was right, and that was where my passion started with them both. Just watching and learning and just being there and feeling that love that when you cook.
Yeah.
Because without me being there, I would have never have known.
Are you familiar with Jerome Bias? Do you know that name?
No.
And the only reason I ask is there's a really interesting conversation. When I was at Montpelier, there was a lot of talk about just sort of the like cultural part of food and cooking, and how that, you mentioned it is I think a little bit different than how a lot of people operate today, right? Cooking was, like you said, it was a very communal thing. It was a way to not only share things that were culinary in nature, but it was about storytelling. It was about passing down culture. It was about passing down this, that, and the third. Is that a practice that you have kept, as you've grown up in your family, right? Because I think you mentioned it. I mean, as eras change, as zeitgeist changes, as sort of the tempo of everyone's life changes, the erosion of what I think a lot of us would consider kind of more traditional practices seems to be kind of how we mark time, right?
Right.
No, we're in an era where, like, I don't know this to be true, but it just feels like less people cook because I can just get food delivered, or exactly, right. So, but for you, right, as someone who I can tell already has is somewhat of a traditionalist, like, is that a thing that you kept up, where, like, look, we take the time to cook, and while we do that, we share time, we share stories, there's more of a cultural component to it than just the act of preparing food.
Yes, very much so. I am very adamant about food and communicating over food and bonding over food in my home. And that is, we do our best thinking over food.
Yeah.
Sure.
When our belly is full,
sure,
there's no end to the possibilities of a mind.
Right.
They always say a child thinks better when it's fed on a full belly.
Right.
To deprive that culture from everyone else would be a sin. So we want to make sure that we continue that culture. I want to make sure that my daughter carries this on with her child. Sit your child down and cook with her. Let her know these basic skills, because I'm going to tell you, the pandemic by itself almost took this whole world to their knees. I had to teach things to my daughter sooner than I was planning on teaching her. How to sustain, how to grow plants and vegetables, and how to look at things differently in the grocery store. If you see fingernail marks in the grocery store on fruits and vegetables, don't buy it. That's one of my pet peeves. I don't know why people do that. I don't know.
I noticed, and maybe because I'm not in the produce section. But again, I'm not a cook. I'm losing recipes on my. That's what I'm done. But I have never noticed that people be handling. People do handle produce.
Yes,
of course.
I saw a video of a person with grapes, and they were like and they was like picking the grapes. I was like,
oh no, nope.
What are you looking for? Who sent you? So, and as well, and it's for our health. When you cook your food, it's better for your body. You stop taking these preservatives in your body. Stop taking these artificial things in your body. I'm a diabetic, and I learned a new lifestyle. I am currently off of insulin because of that change of lifestyle.
Snaps.
Wow.
Snap. That's what food will do.
Wow.
You hear me?
Interesting.
And you walk around and you shop the perimeter. And when you shop the perimeter of the grocery store, those are the things that you have to cook. You can't open a can on the perimeter of this grocery store. You can't.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you're nourishing your body, you're nourishing your mind, you're nourishing your communication skills. Everything is being built. Everything is being loved on.
And is that been a mission of your restaurant? And can you talk a little about that for the people who may not know, and like how important that mission is to the food that you make for your business?
Well, yes, absolutely. My motto is my mission statement. If you cook it with love, they will return. So that means if you put the love in your food, people will notice it, and when they notice it, they will come back.
Mm-hmm.
And with that passion in there, I refuse not to put it. I refuse not to place it in my food. It's something that has to be shown. I am so tired of having restaurants put food out, and it's either not up to par, or they don't, or you can tell that no one cared about it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it. Soul food is supposed to be something of the heart, not something of the grease.
What let me ask you a question. So, are you a trained chef, or are you a?
I am a licensed chef. I am a trained licensed chef.
So,
Amen.
you? At what point did you? Because I've heard this from a couple different people in various sort of like food places. Some have said, "Yeah, I did the whole chef thing. I went to culinary school. I did I learned the pedagogy. I understand the knives. This." Some people are kind of like, "My grandma taught me how to cook, and I liked it, and I cook." Where did you, or how did you decide kind of how to mix and mesh those two things? Like, when did you decide that? Because we have this conversation a lot about, in all things, right? Like about credentialing, and like how much of it do you need the credential for? How much of it are you learning by doing? You know, and I'm kind of like the guy where like, look, I want my surgeon to have gone to medical school. Like, I need that. But there's a lot of other stuff where I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't need it for some stuff.
Yeah, but I think there's a bigger argument, you know, and you've got, you know, you have kids who are getting older, and you're going to, you know, have that conversation about what is higher education worth in these particular alcoves, right? And like, what does that credential mean? You know, and so you could argue, particularly culturally, that you can learn to cook really well just at the foot of a really good cook.
Right. It's more to being a chef than just cooking.
Okay, and explain the distinction.
And
I would have known that.
And here it is because some chefs are business owners. You've got to know how to run your business.
Sure.
Yes, chef.
Then on top of that, you've got to know how to navigate in the kitchen.
Okay.
Then on top of that, you need to know how to work with people. Then on top of that, you need to know your state standards.
Okay.
OSHA standards. You need to know how to implement certain things in the kitchen, use certain equipment. You have to be a pretty hands-on person to
use a chef.
To be a chef.
Okay.
And you need to know the different things, different roles of different chefs. Because there's not just because you're a chef doesn't mean that you're a chef of all things.
Right. Okay. It's specific types of
You have a
cutting.
Right.
Fruit, dessert.
Yeah, you've got
baked
this pastry set.
Yes. Meat.
Types of cutting fruit.
Cutting fruit.
Lots of different types of chefs. Yeah, there we go. I was like, somebody who does one type of thing and another type of thing.
And everybody's part in the kitchen is as important as the next.
That's right.
I love that.
What? When did you decide? Because there is, I think, also a demonstrable difference between cooking because you love it and making a business out of it. And I would love your take on this as someone who's doing it. Everything I sort of read and hear is like the restaurant business, the food business is like a grind. Like everyone's like, it's terrible. Like, don't do it. Why would you? I mean, that's what it is. Like, it's hard. The margins are really small, right? Like, it's terrible, right? And so I wonder, like, you know, how do you continue to find the love in it, and how have you found the transition from something that was, for you growing up, very communal, very social, to now something that has to be more business oriented? Can you preserve what you loved about it now that there is a little bit more of a transactional element to it?
What's keeping me the culinary business is a tough business, but what's keeping me excited and driven is the fact that the type of chef that I am, I'm a Gullah chef. And being a Gullah chef is about the culture and about the dying of a culture and a cuisine. And I want to keep it alive. And in order for me to keep it alive, I have to share it. I don't want this culture to die. This is our history.
Yeah.
This is how we learned to survive over here.
Yeah.
We was taken from our safety to here, and we had to learn how to eat the food here. And this is how we evolved. So to take this away would be horrible. So this is the passion that I have behind it. In order for me to get this out there, I have to blend the two. I have to blend what I know with the culture. What my grandmother taught me with what I learned in South Carolina, you know, what I tasted in South Carolina, what I tasted in North Carolina, what I tasted in Savannah.
I wish I could have been there.
Oh my goodness. My God, today. Oh my gosh. Oh, honey.
What's the best thing you've had down there?
The
barbecue?
God, the barbecue. I was on my way to the beach driving, and I saw these people push this cart in this BP gas station. What are they doing? And you know me, I'm one of those, they're pushing food, I'm going to push with them. So I want to see what it is, you know?
Walk up beside them.
Wait a minute, what you got in there? Wait a minute, you know? And when I stepped out of my car, the smell was so amazing because you could smell it coming out of these racks, these warming racks. They were setting up. I was like, what is that? They said, oh, that's pulled pork barbecue. That's pig picking. We had pig picking, and we picked it off the pig, and this is what we do. And she made me a sandwich. I said, well, can I have a sandwich? Sure, darling. She gave me a sandwich. I kid you not. The sandwich was at least 4 inches thick, at least. And it had barbecue, no sauce, and it had a poke skin on the sandwich. So when you bit into it, it crunched. The devil is a liar.
He is.
I sat down in that car and I ate that sandwich. I went back in there and got 2 more on the way to the beach. I said, come on, this is my food on the way to the beach. And I used to go there every weekend, and it's called Gant's Barbecue. If you're out there, I love you.
Shout out Gant's.
Shout out Gant's Barbecue, South Carolina. On Road 76.
Findable? Like
some people just in their homes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, are they in that?
Yes, you know a lot.
Do they got a website?
Let's
Check it
find
out. Is it Gant's? G-A-N-T-S.
Gant's Barbecue.
Is it Paul Gant's Barbecue? Maybe the best hometown barbecue in the Southeast. Let's see if this is a
That
South
might
Carolina
be it.
thing. But location
76.
Ooh, no, that's in Florida.
See, they got 2 different types of family going against
There's
each
a
other
lot
for pork.
that last name is very big down there.
Oh,
is it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's just like Rush's up here.
That makes sense. But in the last decade, so much work has been done on the history of Black food. I actually had a course in college called Black Foodways, and I learned so much. I was like, it talked a little bit about like all the foods that we love today were born out of necessity for the enslaved population. Like greens, for example. They only got a ham hock bone, right? But they need nutrients in the greens. How they put it in the greens, and the history of greens, as we know it, was out of survival. And how a lot of the foods that we create as a Black people is about survival, and now they're traditions.
Right.
People are like, this stuff is good, but back in the day, they had no other choice. You know? It's rice in the braids. It's keeping each other alive with what we have, and now everybody want it. It's like you can't go nowhere with this gentrification and not find somebody trying to mock up soul food, right? And it's like, but these things, if you don't understand the culture and history of the survival of why the food is the way it is.
That's why I'm so upset with some of these soul food restaurants in this town, because they put out that this is soul food, and
that means something though. It's definitive,
honey. if I cannot pinch your oxtail,
Tell me about it, because I've only had oxtail like 3 or 4 times,
if
and
the
I've gotten it from out of
oxtail does
town.
not come off in my hand
Yeah.
When you pinch it.
when I pinch it.
Okay.
If it just doesn't fall and just crumble just. I mean, it's supposed to just. It's like feathers.
I didn't
If
know
it
that.
don't do that,
So now I know I how to check it.
if it doesn't do that, stop cooking it.
True. I don't know.
Stop cooking it.
How much of and so you've done this mix of both, right? The traditional training and then this very
Yes.
sort of culturally significant. How much of what is being taught to folks who want to be chefs, who want to be in the culinary arts, is how closely are those things related? Right? So is there are you looking at it going, like we are styling a very particular workforce who is maybe, in your opinion, not trained to necessarily do what you're saying. They're trained to mass produce things quickly. Is that true? I don't know if that's true, but I'm curious as your take on that.
A lot of them are masked to do things a specific way. Because when you go into culinary school, you pick and choose what type of chef you want to be.
Okay.
So
from what options?
So you got a pastry chef.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
Depending on what you want to work with.
Okay. Right.
So if you want to work with a certain thing, you are more focused on that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now there are some people that are just line cooks.
Right.
And just want to mass produce.
Right.
But that's what they were trained to do.
Right.
And that's what it depends on what's the necessity of the business.
Right.
But that's the beauty of being a chef.
Yeah.
You champion the change.
Right.
So you're going to stick and move with it. So if you're a chef, you can go, I can work from being a line cook at the hospital to being a chef at Common House.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So you can pretty much handle the kitchen.
Okay.
It's about navigating that kitchen.
Okay.
And doing the basics brilliantly.
Okay.
And getting those things and having those standards. If you get those standards right,
yeah,
and hit those zones, those standards, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. It'll all just smooth off.
Yeah.
And you'll have everything just focused. And I hope I answered that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are just jumping in, this is Envision Radio from the United Wave Creator Charlottesville, City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price and Marky, Stacy Rush talking food and all other interesting bits and pieces. Do you have any crazy kitchen stories, like people throwing vegetables at your head, or that's one question. The other question is, do you have any people or groups in particular who you had the opportunity to cook for that you were really excited about?
Well, I actually had the opportunity to cook for my family. And when I say my family, I'm talking about my entire family.
Really?
Yeah.
How many people is that?
Girl.
100 people?
At least. Well,
You cooked for 100
It
people?
was 50 people in the house.
Okay, 50 people outside?
And then I had to cook for, when I say my work family as well. And it was 80 people there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this was Thanksgiving. And it was in Circuit City. And I made Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was probably the most chaotic experience I ever had in my life, but it was the most rewarding. And I worked a 16-hour shift on top of that.
Yeah. Lord have mercy.
Yes. And we had district managers and the company president in.
Oh. You was trying to make it or break it.
and I made it.
You said promotion today.
Yeah, and you know
Summit
what?
City.
And it came about a month later.
They still was tasting it.
Yeah, they were. They were. I got asked for the gravy recipe.
Do you give out recipes or
Negative.
but say, are these
yeah.
secret? Are you keep because when
are.
people talk about recipes and mama and grandma not telling you recipes and they get lost, you should write it down and
They
then
are
put,
written down.
and they're hidden.
They are written
And you
down.
told
but I
somebody
do
the location of these recipes.
Yes, my daughter knows where these recipes are written down.
Okay, that's good.
Every woman in my family knows these recipes.
Okay. That's good because I think we're losing recipes, as I mentioned earlier.
We will not lose these recipes.
How far do they extend? Are you in the pastry realm? Are you in the what is your
Go to.
Yeah, where's your zone where you're like, yep, this is my thing.
They ask you to make one thing or it's done. We're done.
Everything?
Everything.
Oh my goodness!
Really?
Because if you look at my if my face, I do anything from cakes to cobblers
I will
to
find it. What am I looking
to meat. You look at my Facebook page,
Got
you'll
it.
see everything.
Can you
Plumm's
tell
Place
people what
Catering.
your Facebook page name is
Yes,
so they'll have it?
Stacy Rush at Facebook.com.
Okay.
Plumm's Place Catering.
Okay.
And Gullah Kitchen at Facebook.com.
There it is. All right.
Yep.
We're on it.
So
You keep
everything
going.
you wouldn't say that there's one thing that you're like I'm an expert.
Well, I am an expert prime rib,
Okay,
Ooh.
I love ribs.
Hey.
honey.
I love a good rib.
Put it this way.
I love a good pork chop. I love a good
Yes.
everything. I don't know how I say it.
Yes, I do. I'm doing ribs for Albemarle High School tomorrow.
Are you?
Amen.
Yeah, for tailgate. We're doing tailgate.
Are they having? Is it some type of
Homecoming.
sports season?
Homecoming, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
Go Almar people!
Yeah, go Pats.
I was like, well, I
Right.
couldn't remember the mascot. I was like,
on.
whatever it is.
Come on.
Yay.
Come on.
So, what are some challenges you face when you first had the idea of starting Plums? What are some of the challenges and obstacles you had to overcome to be in the position that you are today?
Well, I still face obstacles to
Absolutely.
this day.
Mhm.
And I've learned how to champion change and stick and move and just go with the flow and reach out for help to people who can help.
I love that. Some people don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of struggling in silence.
We have to learn,
We do.
Yeah.
humble ourselves,
Yeah.
and
Humble
learn
ourselves in the
to
name.
reach out to each other.
Yeah.
And my biggest obstacle trying to get my business started was the pandemic. Plumm's Place was supposed to come out late 2019.
Okay.
Sure.
Everything was written down, all my recipes, and it hit.
Yep.
I sound like Burl Ives. It hit, you know, from Frosty the Snowman. But the pandemic took effect, and I was pulled out of my regular job because I have underlying issues, and it stopped the world.
Yeah.
And it stopped me. But I said, I'm not going to let it stop me. I used the time wisely, and I reviewed and focused more on my business, and I'm glad I did because I saw some kinks and things that I needed to address, and just took more time.
Sometimes it's not a setback, it's a setup.
It's set up, honey. What you hear me?
I got all these from my grandma.
Yes. Yes.
All these colloquials.
Yes.
It's a setup.
Yes. So to overcome that, just be patient and learn how to champion change and ask for help.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
It's a learned skill. Talk a little bit about your. Is your daughter following in your footsteps? Is she
loving to cook?
If you couldn't see, which you can't, there was a subtle but loving eye roll.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to understand what is behind that particular facial expression, outside of the fact that she is a teenage girl. And,
Yeah.
It's a tough time.
yeah, that's right. That's like, that comes,
It's not like she's 6.
comes
It's not
with
even
its
like she's
own-
26.
its own level of
14.
stuff.
Yes, she used to
But-
be Mama's right hand sous chef.
Sure.
Now it's when she feels like
right.
it.
Aw.
That's
Like
right.
the other day, she felt like making a lemon pound cake, and I embrace it every time she wants
That's
to.
right.
Okay.
So anytime she wants to go in the kitchen, I allow her to. So she can cook.
Is that right?
Yeah, she better know how to cook.
Oh.
How you gonna eat?
But does she enjoy it? Is there
yes, sometimes she does. She loves brunch. She loves to cook
brunch is so big right now.
Yeah,
I love a
brunch.
I love a brunch. If you catch me on a Saturday, I'm at brunch.
Yes.
Where are you going?
You know what? I don't like to give out shout outs for free, but I love Fee. I've been there. I've been a couple times to brunch there.
That new chef is something else.
I've been to Ralph's Samson's for brunch.
New chef.
I've been to Fig for brunch.
Where?
Fig is on the corner. It's like food is. It's called Fig stands for food is good. Oh, I'm giving such a shout. And they have a really good spicy chicken and waffle.
What?
That I enjoy. I'm not a chef, so I don't have like a palate to be, but I love their chicken and waffles. I don't even, and that was like, I had it over a year ago, so I don't even know if they still have it, but I went and I was like, oh my God, that was really delicious.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a brunch person. I stay at a brunch. I go to DC for brunch.
Is that right?
Once a month.
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Where do you go up there?
There was this place, guys, that I just went. It was like all you can eat bottomless brunch. And the name is it's escaping me, but I thought it was.
It's
really
a line,
good.
right? It's a line. You go through a line.
I cannot remember the name.
got
I would
the
have to look it up
trays.
in my calendar.
I think I know what you're
But
talking about.
I love a bottomless brunch.
Okay.
I like, but I think the problem with a bottomless brunch is that like they're trying to make it in such mass number. It's not like you order a food and they make the food. It's like we made a lot of food for everybody to get as much as they want, so it's hard.
Sure.
So if a bottomless brunch got good food, I'm like yes. And then there's a place in Richmond called Lulu's.
Yeah.
And I went to Lulu's about a month ago.
Okay.
And I have been thinking about Lulu's for freaking a month. Yeah, I was like, oh, I loved Lulu's. And that was last month. I said, they have the best potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And more of the story is I like
That's the whole
food.
story.
Like
That's the whole
food
story.
is my friend.
Yeah, and you know what? I do love a good food restaurant.
What's your favorite
have my own.
restaurant? Besides yourself.
Yeah.
Chain wise?
It doesn't have to be a chain. I think it's hard to be a chain. So
Yeah.
but if you want to name a chain, that's fine. But I just need to know. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna go there right tonight.
Right after this. Not going to work today.
Right now,
Favorite right now.
it's Kroger Spot,
Where is it?
What is it?
Richmond.
Okay.
Yes, they were at the Heritage.
Yes, they were.
They were okay.
were there.
What is it called? The African Heritage Festival
Yes,
at
they were.
Not Washington Park. Yes. Washington Park.
Yes,
Okay.
they were.
People talk about Kroger Spot.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're from Richmond. I was like,
Yes,
why
they
are
are.
they here? But I've never had it, but my mom really
Those
likes it.
peppers.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, yeah, they had like
Go
a
to
booth.
Kroger Spot.
But I've never been there.
Okay. Okay.
That's like everybody talks about Mama J's.
Sure. Well, that's a different thing.
Kroger Spot's better.
Really?
I love it. I love it. I actually believe you so much because I just think some things are just like
Well,
overhyped.
And I like good barbecue. And
Yeah.
Tuffy Stone, he's a barbecue pit master. He has a
I was just now watching a show on Netflix, barbecue, the barbecue pit master.
yeah.
Yes, I love that show.
With Big Mo K song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love barbecue too, but I feel like my current favorite barbecue in Charlottesville is a chain.
Who's that?
So it's Mission Barbecue.
Mission.
Oh, sure.
Mission Barbecue got the best barbecue in town.
Yes.
And I feel bad because that's not fair. That's not fair.
So you
That's not fair. And that's what I'm
so
saying online. That's not fair that they got the best.
You
It's-
like Carolina barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just made me, every time I go up there and I eat a whole barbecue, I'm like, dang, I wish it won't displace, but
Look,
that's such good barbecue.
I'm a true believer that barbecue does not supposed to have sauce.
Okay.
Really?
I like
At
a little
all?
sauce on my barbecue.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Good barbecue doesn't need sauce.
Well, I'm
Interesting.
thinking
That's
down
like,
to wherever
that's
that
kind of
is.
like the steak argument, right?
That's
That,
crazy.
Yeah, so sauce is an additive.
Right.
It's like ketchup to
Right,
barbecue.
Oh, my Lord.
Right.
I put
Try
a lot.
Polly's. Try
Where
Polly's
is
on
it?
151 up in Nelson County.
Okay, let's put it on the list.
Polly's
Write it
barbecue
down.
pit. If you get that
Paul's
barbecue off of that pit,
Okay.
right when it comes off,
Yeah.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh my
It's
goodness!
in Nelson, you said?
I used to wait on the side of the road
Yeah.
and wait for him to get the barbecue.
You said, "Girl, I'm-
get the pig
put your
off
thumb
the
out."
pit. Yeah, and just wait in the car. Just wait in the car. Just wait.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that there's almost two flavors of people who are kind of experts with food. Is they either really enjoy it and they enjoy the experience of it, or it makes them sort of jaded to it.
Right.
You seem like you've gone heavy in the other direction. You still really love it, and you still
Yes.
really love the experience and other people's food. And has that always been the case, or did you have some times where you're like, I can't even eat any of this other stuff? 'Cause
I've never
really,
been that.
really?
I've always been. You can ask your mom. I've been a fluffy girl all my life.
Amen. Shout out to the fluffy girls. The girl, I'm not eating from nobody who ain't had tried the food. Don't trust. They used to say, "Don't trust no Guinness chef."
Yes, I've been a base. I was a base on the chili as well.
Right.
Yes, yes. But I truly enjoy food. Food is happiness. I did have an unhealthy relationship with food at one point, and it's very good for people to understand that. I used to be an emotional eater, and a lot of times women are like that. Excuse me, but I learned to be an emotional water drinker instead.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I heard that did somebody transition to that.
It's hard.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing.
It's so hard.
You emotional?
Look, I'm smiling. It's so hard. But when you catch diabetes, it's kind of gets some motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think about and this is a little bit of a layered question, but the obvious, I think, knock on soul food would be that it is some of the comfort is that it is not particularly healthy.
Here we go with that.
Right?
I hear that all the time too.
Right. And
Depending.
this is what I want you to talk about though, right? Because I think that there is I think as we pass down recipes and ideas and cultures and this and that and the third, and I think about it, my grandmother's in her 80s, and the way she cooks, I just laugh because I'm like, one, I love it, two, it's great, but I'm like, this is it's so good, but there is that part of it where you're like, okay, you were raised in the 40s. Like, there was a much different standard of care with all manner of stuff.
Yeah.
And the way that things move and update and this and the third. The question is exactly about that, though. Is like, can we square that circle? And not to make a large-scale health argument, but to essentially say that from someone who is an expert in food, can we make the two meet in a way that we're preserving tradition, but also updating in whatever ways necessary to ensure that it can be eaten for years and years and years to come in large quantities. Like, that can be a culinary staple and not just like the cheat stuff that we only have when we get together once a month.
Well, that's what Gullah is.
Okay.
Gullah is food from the land. You've got okra, you've got tomato, you've got rice, you've got lima beans, you've got field peas. Those are your main staples, and you got seafood. What's unhealthy in that?
Right. I was gonna say the way they was making it and living forever. Like maybe it's about the way we make it now, or how the foods are grown now.
It's what
I
we
think it's
cook
probably
it with.
both. Yeah, I think it's both. Sure.
It's what we cook it with. I cook all of my food with olive oil or pure butter. Nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't use vegetable oil. I don't use that stuff. It's not good for you. And the reason why I use butter is because I make cakes. I'm not making a cake without pure butter.
Right.
And it's unsalted butter.
People doing it, but
People doing it, they get it done. I mean, shoot, I eat it.
Shout out to the vegans.
Shout out to the vegans. I mean, but and look, there is an option for you can call me and say, "Hey, Stacy, I want this, but I don't want you to use butter."
Yeah,
I have that option because you got to understand with being a chef, you got to be versatile. You got to know, hey. Yeah, I have fried shrimp and grits, but hey, do you have to fry them? Do you have to fry them in vegetable oil, or can you fry them in canola oil? Can you fry them in? I have options. And remember, it's what your customer wants. I'm not a big, huge restaurant chain where I have to go and cook things in mass. I can talk to my customer.
That's very true.
And say, hey, how is it that you want your stuff cooked? And that's why I like the situation that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
It's one-on-one.
It's one-on-one.
They get to talk to the person who's making the food.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to a chain and seeing the person back there making your food, and there's somebody different every day.
Right, exactly. Or being forced to have an open window kitchen because they want to see who's cooking your food.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a very small. It's just me. I'm very small.
Yeah.
So when people call me, they call and tell me exactly what they want, and they get exactly what they want, and that's what makes my food so good, because it's what the people want. I had a man sit there and eat almost a pound of potato salad in my yard.
That's the one thing. My grandma used to make potato salad, and she's passed away since, and we have not really had potato salad.
Really?
We had for 5 years after she had passed.
You need to practice the recipe.
What recipe? I don't have the recipe. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, you do.
Oh, there you go.
You've tasted grandma's.
But that's what I was like. We stopped stopped having it.
Keep
and
making
even
it.
though we really liked it and it was really good. And I told somebody last year in my family, because we get together, I said, we need to figure this out. I said, we need a cold side with the beans and stuff. Y'all y'all good at this, but I need potatoes. I don't know if we got to go down here and find somebody at a different family. And that's what we recently found someone else.
Add an orange, potato salad for hire.
Yeah, but we did not have potato salad. I kid you not, for about 4-5 years.
Wow.
And nobody would try it, and we just did not have it.
Oh.
And I was so mad. I miss my grandma. I was just like, every plate y'all make is wrong.
You got a project.
Miss my grandma, obviously.
But.
Like, we need potato salad.
You got a project.
I don't have the recipe.
You don't need the recipe. You've got it here. You know what it tastes like. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You keep practicing. You keep making it until you get that taste. That's how you do it. And then you write it down.
Then I write it down.
Yep.
You got a test.
Yep.
By Thanksgiving, I want to hear your potato salad.
Yeah, okay. I got you. I got to go home and get myself together.
Yep. I want to know.
You're going to start with potatoes.
That's right. The type of potatoes.
I remember her making it, though. It's strange, the things that you think you've forgotten. And I know that. The things that you think you have no idea about. And when you start to sit down, you're like, I remember her pulling this out the fridge.
There you go.
I remember. I don't know how much she put in each time or what she did after this, but once you get in it, I'm sure that my mind will come around. I just can. I don't ask me. Don't put a gun to my head and ask me right now, because I don't know.
Throwing stuff in there.
Yeah,
all I know is that it had potatoes in it.
Well, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Potato salad. Yeah.
So, last question from me. But what is your hope for the future of Plumm's Place, Catering, and Gullah Kitchen? And where can people find you if they want to try some of this good food? You've been talking about. My mouth has been watering.
Well, my hope for the future for Plumm's Place Catering, Gullah Kitchen, is to soon do carry-out lunches and dinners.
Okay.
I love that.
Yes, I want to do carry-out lunches and dinners right now. Like I said, right now I'm working. I'm renting spaces and doing is cooking where I can to provide for my catering, and then. I would like to have an actual brick and mortar.
I love that.
I would love to have a brick and mortar spot. And I absolutely love to have more business, So please definitely come. And you can find me at 112 Frederick Circle.
Thank you so much. As you hear, please reach out to her. The food sounds delicious. If words was food, we'd be full.
Yes.
Shout out to everyone who makes this Envision Radio possible. United Way of Greater Charlottesville, City of Promise, WNIA Radio. Thank you for being here with us, Price, Marky, and Stacy. And if you have any ideas for the show, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And we make all this possible with gifts and donations and support from people just like you. So please reach out. And have a great day. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Did I do good?
Yeah, you did great.
Okay, good. My asthma is messing with me. You saw how my voice changed?
Oh,
Yeah. I've got asthma, COPD, high blood
Oh,
pressure, and
Lord.
diabetes, girl. So I called myself the walking COVID cocktail. So they made sure I was shut up and shut out during the pandemic. Yes.
Sorry, Price. Something must have come up with him. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, something must have come up.
Yeah.
I just want to call him. Make sure
Take
he's
your time. Take your time, honey. I ain't in no hurry. I'm gonna go back to sleep. I've got to take this medicine.
I need me some Advil or something too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wish I did have Advil. Oh no, milk recall. Oh God.
That's a lot.
I mean, why is this is crazy. I swear. And it's lactate milk. Oh my God, today.
Hey, put your head on out. I guess he'll call me later.
Is he okay?
Yeah, I think he's okay. I just don't know how to stop the mics. Like, he used the tech board.
Oh,
And I don't know how to stop him. Yeah, I don't know how to stop these. You already stopped it. Yeah, I just need to stop them.
You just want to turn the mics off?
Oh, yeah, or stop the recording. I don't know if it is recording. See, I don't know anything about this.
What did he leave so early?
Something must have come up. He, like, packed up without telling us. Like, he just started packing up and we were still in the air. So something must have come up.
Wow.
I just don't know how to stop it.
Hmm.
I don't know. Is it over here? Like,
I think it's here because this is your voice.
mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me get Sherry.
Yeah,
in.
sorry about that.
That's okay. I mean, I was on the air for over 40 years, but all this is new.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Price.
Hello. Price usually handles the board, and I think he told me just push stop. I don't know if it's stopped.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. So you'll just hit